Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Mark Martin. Here are some of the big headlines we're following in the CBN newsroom. President Trump is firing back at Senator Dick Durbin. The president says Durbin misrepresented what he said at an Oval Office meeting on DACA last week. Trump tweeted, "Senator Dickie Durbin totally misrepresented what was said at the DACA meeting. Deals can't get made when there is no trust. Durbin blew DACA and is hurting our military." Trump made that statement as a government shutdown is looming. GOP leaders say they may not be able to reach a long-term spending agreement with Democrats by Friday. They are looking to short-term funding measures to keep the government open. Edwin Hawkins, the gospel music star best known for the hit "Oh Happy Day," has died. He was 74 years old. Love that song. The composer, keyboardist, and choir arranger was found in his home on Monday. He had been suffering from pancreatic cancer. Hawkins was credited as the founder of modern gospel music, alongside music legends like Andre Crouch and James Cleveland. Dramatic video shows the moment when a Nissan sedan soared into the air and crashed into a second-story dental office. The crash happened in Santa Ana, California. The car was speeding when it hit a median and flew into the building. Only minor injuries were reported. A miracle. Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles says she was sexually abused by a former USA gymnastics team doctor. Biles tweeted Monday that she is one of, quote, many survivors who was abused. Olympic medalist Aly Raisman, Gabby Douglas, and Michaela Maroney say they were abused by that same doctor. Dr. Larry Nassar has admitted to assaulting the gymnast. He was sentenced in December to 60 years in federal prison. He faces another 40 to 125 years for assaulting 7 girls. You can learn more about these stories by going to cbnnews.com. Police in Southern California have arrested a mother and father accused of torturing and holding their 13 children captive. Investigators say many of the children were shackled to their beds. One of the daughters managed to escape the house, calling 911. Charlene Aaron has the story.
57-year-old David Turpin and his 49-year-old wife Louise are in police custody, charged with multiple counts of child abuse after police made a chilling discovery inside their Paris, California home. Investigators say their 13 children, ages 2 to 29, were held in dungeon-like conditions and said to be starving. Investigators learned about the case Sunday morning after one of the children, a 17-year-old girl, managed to escape from the house and called 911 from a cell phone she found in the home. Police say the girl was emaciated and looked like she was only 10, telling police her parents were holding her, 12 brothers and sisters, captive inside their home. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department said in a statement that several of the children were shackled to their beds in dark and foul-smelling surroundings. Shocked neighbors described seeing the children from time to time.
They were very, very pale-skinned, almost like they've never seen the sun.
Everybody was super skinny and not athletic skinny, malnourished skinny.
The chills in my body, I was just I can't believe that was happening. No one should be treated like that.
A family photo on the Turpins' Facebook page showed the couple renewing their vows, surrounded by their 13 children. David Turpin's parents told ABC News the Turpins were considered a good Christian family in their neighborhood. The distraught grandparents said they couldn't understand any of this. The children were homeschooled and would sometimes memorize long passages of the Bible. One expert believes the captivity must have been an ongoing situation.
They had to have been doing this for some time, and they were probably very disciplined and very meticulous about keeping the children captive.
Both parents are each being held on a $9 million bail. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
The University of Iowa is caught up in a legal fight with a conservative Christian student group that denied a leadership position to a student who is gay. The group, called Business Leaders in Christ, says its membership is open to everyone, but its leaders must affirm a statement of faith that rejects homosexuality. The university says it respects the right to practice religion, but does not tolerate discrimination of any kind. The group's campus registration was then revoked, and now they're suing. A hearing is set for Thursday on a request from the group to reinstate its on-campus privileges. The U.S. is calling on its old Korean War allies to come together once again, unified against North Korea's aggressiveness. Today, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson will join his Canadian counterpart to host the 20 nations in Vancouver. They'll discuss increasing economic pressure on North Korea, the rogue nation's nuclear program and diplomacy, which has had a breakthrough in recent weeks. For the first time in years, North and South Korea have met, and President Donald Trump has signaled a willingness to hold his own talks under the right circumstances. The meeting in Vancouver comes after the mistaken missile alert scare in Hawaii over the weekend, which brought the North Korea threat to life. Hawaii's emergency management agency says it's changing the way alerts go out after a false warning about an inbound ballistic missile sent fear throughout the islands over the weekend. But it brings up the question, if you had only minutes to live, what would you do? CBN's national security correspondent Eric Rosales has more.
It was a scare that took some 38 minutes to correct. An alert that stated, "This is not a drill. An inbound missile is headed to Hawaii," and it sent people scrambling.
This is not a drill. If you are indoors, stay indoors.
Hey, best way to describe what happened this morning was about 38 minutes of not sure if you're going to die or not. A lot of uncertainty.
The veteran technician who mistakenly sent the alert is now removed from their position. Future tests and actual launch notifications will now require verification by 2 people. A pre-scripted cancellation command has also been prepared and can be issued within seconds. Reverend Franklin Graham took the opportunity to use the situation as a teaching tool, asking on Facebook, "What would you do if you had only 20 minutes to live? Would you call on the name of God? Would you ask for forgiveness of your sins? Would you contact your loved ones?"
I'll probably spend the last 20 minutes with family and devotional time with Jesus.
Probably eat at a cheesesteak at my favorite restaurant. It's called Ishkabibbles in Philadelphia.
If I only had 20 minutes to live, I definitely would be praying and asking for forgiveness so I can make it in.
The Federal Communication System has launched its own investigation. Its chairman says the worst thing going forward is that the public will lose confidence in this alert system. He said if an actual emergency should happen, the public should take it seriously. Eric Rosales, CBN News, Washington.
Palestinian leaders are calling on Mahmoud Abbas to cease recognizing Israel as a state and cut off security cooperation as Palestinians continue to fume over U.S. recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. In a 2.5-hour speech, Abbas lashed out at the U.S., Israel, Britain, and some Arab leaders whom he told to go to hell. To President Trump, Abbas said, "May your house be demolished." He also declared the peace process dead. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Abbas has torn off his mask and exposed that the root of the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians is their continual refusal to recognize the Jewish state in any borders. Well, stay with us. There's much more of CBN NewsWatch still ahead. Welcome back. If you listen to the mainstream media long enough, you may think President Trump is a racist. But are they telling the full story? With more on that, CBN's Jenna Browder joins us live now from Washington. Welcome, Jenna.
Good morning, Mark. Yeah, you know, if you watch the mainstream media, you are seeing clip after clip of President Trump just looking like a racist. You know, MSNBC the other day on Meet the Press, they just had one after the other. My colleague David Brody was on there, and by their account, it does look like he's a racist. But the counter argument, this is a man who was given the Medal of Honor back in 1986 for his diversity and tolerance. I mean, he is on the record with my colleague David Brody, who's interviewed him about 15 times, 9 times on the campaign trail, as saying the Confederate flag belongs in the museum. I've interviewed him myself, and, from what I've learned from him and from family members, people close to him, is that this is not the man who they know. And we have a clip of Donald Trump speaking back in September of 2016 to an African-American congregation in Detroit. Let's go ahead and play that.
I fully understand that the African-American community has suffered from discrimination and that there are many wrongs that must still be made right. They will be made right. I want to make America prosperous for everyone. The African-American faith community has been one of God's greatest gifts to America and to its people. It's from the pews and pulpits and Christian teachings of black churches all across this land that the civil rights movement lifted up its soul and lifted up the soul of our nation.
Wow, some powerful words there, Jenna.
Yeah, I think it's important to point out that the president, while his remarks about Haiti, Mark, and about Africa were flat out wrong, inappropriate, this man, he sees things through an economic lens, not through a racial lens. So the comments that he made about Haiti, about Africa, he would have said the same things about any other country that was in those financial straits like those countries.
Well, what does this racism narrative mean for his agenda moving forward?
With Donald Trump, you never know. Of course, there was the whole Access Hollywood fallout just, weeks before the election. He, of course, survived that. And with him, I think middle America a lot of times feels like the mainstream media overplays its hand here. They don't necessarily think that he is a racist. And so when you have montage after montage of him looking like a bigot, looking like a racist, it just becomes a little bit hard for them to believe, especially in contrast to some of the more positive things he's done for African Americans. Not to mention, Mark, African American unemployment is at an all-time low, 6.8%.
All right, Jenna Browder, our Washington correspondent, thank you so much for your insights today. Up next, Gospel Music Hall of Famer Richard Smallwood talks about the struggle with depression that he kept hidden for decades. This living legend shares his pain and his progress when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Many people with depression feel ashamed, and within the Christian community, it's even called one of the church's dirty little secrets. In reality, depression is a serious mental illness affecting millions. John Jessup brings us the story of a Grammy Award-winning gospel musician who hid his struggle with depression for decades.
Every morning you see about me. Each week, these voices fill the halls of Howard University's historic chapel. Every morning you see about me. The gospel choir sings across the country and around the world.
He washed my sins away.
Representing soulful musicality and salt and light wherever they go.
Today, members of the Howard Gospel Choir serve as ambassadors for the university. Hard to believe it was just several decades ago that gospel was banned by the music department, and any music major caught playing anything other than classical could be suspended.
Gospel music was a no-no.
Richard Smallwood, considered a living legend in gospel music, was one of the choir's founding members.
We knew how to switch from the latest gospel song to Bach in 3 seconds flat. If somebody said, "Here comes the dean," we go right from whatever we were playing to Bach or Chopin until he passed the door, and then we go right on back to our gospel.
His love of music started early.
My mother tells the story that before I could talk, when I would come home from church on Sunday mornings, I would hum whatever hymn they sang at church.
His mother helped young Richard develop an ear for all kinds of music, raising him on Ella Fitzgerald, Peggy Lee, and the Roberta Martin singers.
I was growing up this little kid with all these crazy tastes.
From a small kids choir to his current group, Vision, Smallwood's career includes a Grammy, multiple Dove and Stellar Awards, and a place in the Gospel Music Hall of Fame. He's also collaborated with the likes of Shaka Khan, Aretha Franklin, and Bill Gaither, with whom he wrote, "Jesus, You're the Center of My Joy." Whitney Houston showcased his song, "I Love the Lord," in the movie The Preacher's Wife. And last summer, his anthem, "Total Praise," was performed at the White House for Pope Francis, broadcast around the world. Even with all this success and acclaim, Smallwood, an ordained minister, revealed last year that his signature sound came from a place of pain.
It got to the point where I couldn't get out of bed. I wouldn't get in the shower. The only time I would sort of go out was if we had somewhere to sing.
He says a series of tragedies, including the deaths of close friends and learning that his stepdad was not his biological father, landed him in what he describes as a dark well. That led him to a minister from his church who was also a licensed clinical psychologist.
After seeing her for a while, she said, "Richard, you're 100% clinically depressed."
The talks helped, but he remained in that dark hole.
I had to get on medication, which was a major decision for me because I was afraid. You know, I heard so many horror stories, but it wasn't getting any better.
The same man who encouraged concertgoers with lyrics like, "There's healing for your sorrow, healing for your soul," says he felt like a fraud.
They're coming up to me saying, "Your song saved me from this," or "Your song ministered to me in this." And I go off the stage and go back to the hotel and close the door, and I'm hurting.
Pain he kept hidden.
Because it's such a stigma, you're ashamed. I think certainly the church doesn't talk about it, and certainly my culture doesn't talk about it. So it was sort of a double kind of thing. I didn't want anybody to know.
Christian counselor Dr. Christine Buckingham says depression can affect anyone.
Certainly, having a relationship with Christ where we begin to understand our identity, who our identity is in Christ, can really deal with and correct some of the thinking errors that we have. But it doesn't make anyone immune, and we can look in Scripture and see many cases of depression.
She believes churches and pastors need to better address mental illness and applauds high-profile Christians like Sheila Walsh and Smallwood for openly sharing their battles.
When someone can stand up there and say, "This is what my struggle is, this is who I am," it can really demythologize what the process is. It can also encourage them because they can see that there's a good outcome.
All the glory, all the honor, from all nations and all people.
Smallwood's been off medication for the past 7 years and still sees his therapist from time to time. He credits his recovery to prayer and counseling. Smallwood's also just finished Anthology, a compilation project he calls the soundtrack of his life. But he's now turned to writing his autobiography, which Smallwood hopes will help many more potentially hiding their battle with depression.
I had no idea just sharing my story would encourage others. When they see someone who has been successful in some kind of way talk about the stuff they had to get through to get to that point, that encourages them to say, well, if they can make it, I can.
John Jessup, CBN News, Washington.
What an inspirational story to encourage people to come out of the shadows and get the help that they need. We'll be right back with more of CBN NewsWatch. Stay with us. Spreading the gospel with the ABCs. That's the tactic of an English language school in a tiny Cambodian village. Our Miranda Lee takes us there now. Miranda, tell us more.
In Cambodia, it's actually illegal to go up to someone on the street and tell them about Jesus or hand them a tract. It's considered disturbing the peace, and you could even be arrested. This month, my team is working with a man who's using teaching English to get around that.
I like English.
less than 2% of Cambodians consider themselves Christians. Saking Kat says he's one of those few thanks to a missionary to his village when he was young.
At the end of the worship, he asked me like, do you want to believe in Jesus? I say yes.
Now in Cambodia, many forms of evangelism are actually illegal. When Kat heard God calling his family to the ministry, he wasn't sure how to get started.
I was praying and then God shows that we can start with the English teaching.
Yes, that's right. Number 6, S-I-X.
The Good Seed Private School partners with the few existing churches in the country to teach children in the community English.
I'm teaching from this book here. It's English lessons from the book of Mark. So these young ladies are not Christians, but I get to share the gospel with them through this book.
A school that started out with just a few students in a tiny room is now this 2-story building with over 100 students.
My life is for Jesus, to serve him. So whatever he called me to do, I will do it. Yes. Yes.
Now I know my ABC. Next time won't you sing with me?
Good job. The school has begun construction on a new outdoor playground and hopes to one day have a full English library for their students. Miranda Lee, CBN News.
Thanks for watching. Have a great day.